Jane Goodall knows how to watch. For more than 40 years, she has watched a group of chimpanzees in Goodall National Park in Africa. What she has seen has changed the way scientists think about animals and people. Jane was 26 years old when she first went to Goodall. It was 1960, and no one had ever studied chimpanzees in the wild. Jane's plan was simple. She would travel to Africa and find some chimpanzees. Then she would sit quietly and watch them go about their lives. When she arrived at Goodall, Jane could hear chimpanzees calling to each other across the valleys. She found half-eaten fruits under trees where they had fed. But she didn't see the chimpanzees themselves. They were shy. Whenever Jane came close, they ran away. Jane was discouraged. But she didn't give up. If the chimpanzees didn't want her to come close, she would watch them from a distance. Every day she woke up before dawn. She put on clothes that blended in with the jungle and climbed to the top of a high, rocky ledge. Using binoculars, she sat and looked at chimpanzees, hour after hour after hour. Other people might have been bored. Not Jane. She loved watching the chimpanzees feeding in fig trees and drinking from streams. She saw how they greeted each other with hugs and kisses. She smiled at the baby chimps who perched on their mothers' backs or sat cradled in their laps. Jane took notes on everything she saw. She wrote about how, at night, each chimp made a cozy nest high in the treetops. Jane watched the chimps bend branches and tuck in smaller twigs. She saw mothers curl up with their babies and then sit back up to make a pillow from a handful of leaves. When the chimps left their nests in the morning, Jane climbed up to try them out for herself. Slowly, the chimpanzees became used to Jane. They let her come closer and closer. Jane began naming the chimps she recognized. David Graybeard had a silvery beard and a calm manner. Old Flo was ugly, with a big nose and raggedy ears, but she was a wonderful mother. Mr. McGregor reminded Jane of the gardener in the tale of Peter Rabbit. At the time, scientists thought that animals being studied should be given numbers, not names. But Jane didn't agree. She saw that the chimpanzees had real personalities. It made sense to give them real names. Today, many scientists name the animals they study in the wild. One day Jane saw something really exciting. David Graybeard was sitting by a red earth termite mound. He poked a long grass stem into a hole in the mound. Then he pulled the stem out and ate the crunchy termites that clung to it. Jane was amazed. David Graybeard was using the grass stem as a tool. Until then, scientists thought that only people used tools. Jane saw the chimps using other tools, too. Once, a big brother chimp grabbed a handful of leaves to wipe his little brother's messy nose. Many times, chimps used crumpled leaves as sponges to soak up water to drink from hollow logs. Over the next 40 years, Jane wrote books about her exciting discoveries. She learned that chimpanzees live in close family groups and make friendships that last a lifetime. They hunt, and they teach their children. They can be happy or sad, angry or afraid. Chimps are more like people than any other living creatures. Studying them has helped scientists understand our own place in nature. And it all started with one woman who knew how to sit quietly and watch carefully.